Good evening, I'm Jack Discover with Weekly DAS News. It's been over 3 days since the March of Australia protest where 95.9% of Australians were marching for Australia. Crowds of demonstrators have coverage on capital cities across Australia as anti-immigration rallies had kicked off on Sunday afternoon. The March for Australia rallies, which calls for an end to mass migration, have been held at Sydney's Belmore Park, Roma Street Parklands in Brisbane, and Melbourne's Flinders Street Station. Further March for Australia rallies have been scheduled in Hobart, Darwin and Townsville, as well as many counter-protests in several cities, despite a heavy police presence at the rally locations as authorities brace for chaos and counter-protests. Organisers have said the events to aim to address concern about mass migration, housing pressures and Australian way of life.
The government's supposed to work for us, the people. We don't want half there not going on, so we're making a stand today to make things right. Albo, you work for us, mate, and you've got to go.
In Sydney, digital creator Beck Freedom, who leads the local rally, has previously instructed supporters to frame the protest as defending Australian heritage. Miss Freedom was forced to apologise and retract the statement she made about the need for violence after she was grilled by 2B host Ben Fordman. In Queensland, ex-ADF serviceman Jason Hode had promoted the marches as peaceful gathering led by Australian patriots. Jason Hode said, quote, "The intent is to march and fly our Australian flag with pride and joy for who we are as a nation," end quote. With additional quote, "We are sick of the immigration and third-class treatment we receive as the everyday, hard-working backbones of our society," end quote. Meanwhile, in Queensland, MP Bob Katter and Senator Pauline Hanson have also backed the marchers. Pauline Hanson also stated, quote, "You should not be ashamed to stand up for the values that have been stripped away," end quote. One Nation leader Pauline Hanson has revealed her pride in attending a March for Australia rally in Canberra amid protests that took place across the country. Miss Hanson earlier on Sunday had appeared at a rally draped in an Australian flag and reportedly led a march across Commonwealth Avenue Bridge to Parliament House. Miss Senator Hanson joined the March for Australia rally with her fellow One Nation members Malcolm Roberts and Tyrone Whitten. Miss Senator Hanson said she was so proud. She also told Sky News on Sunday night.
I was so proud, and I was there joined with my colleagues Malcolm Roberts and Tyrone Whitten, who actually joined me. We were the only politicians that actually bothered to turn up. It wasn't about us being politicians. We were there as grassroots Australians, standing up with pride in our nation, in our flag, who we are as Australians, and to actually, realise our protest to the rest of Australia and the politicians. We're fed up with the mass migration and the effects that it's having on just ordinary Australians out there and the impacts it's having on them, their life, with housing, with health, infrastructure, and the list goes on, the cost of living. So Australians have had enough, but the governments, and I'd say this present Labor government plus the previous government as well, no one's interested. And what annoyed me was that I was told by my staff and everyone, and word was coming in, you better not go because it's taken over by the rat bags. We don't know, for your own safety, we don't think you should go. Anyway, I thought, no, I'm going. Then even the police rang me up and said, look, we don't really want you going. They said there's other protesters that are going there. And I said, I'm not there to cause any trouble. I said, if any trouble's going to be had, go and arrest the other protesters. Let Australians get out there and wave the Australian flag and show pride. Why should we, as Australians, be shut down, told we shouldn't attend these things, yet you allow the Palestinian marches every weekend for the last 2 years that's been held on the streets, and they're destructive, they're vicious, and they're flying the Hamas flags and terrorist flags, and what they're pushing, it's got nothing to do with, the quiet protests that happened today, which I was so proud to be part of, and I'm glad I went.
Well, good on you for going. I mean, as we said earlier, all the politicians, the majority said, oh, it's divisive, it's hateful to go to these marches. But the reality is, Senator, it's not hateful nor is it divisive to wave the Australian flag or to love your country or to be genuinely worried about the state of affairs right now in Australia when, as you said, you've got terror flags being waved so brazenly. But why are people so scared to take a stand on this?
Well, they're scared because they think that you're taken over by the neo-Nazis. People don't want to be involved with people who are racist and neo-Nazis. It's got nothing about the culture or the migrants that have come here. It's about the numbers that are coming here to Australia and the impact. You know, these politicians are so gutless. They really are. That's why I don't have much time for any of them, because they don't have the pride in their hearts to get out there and stand amongst the people. And if the people are going to have a go at them, then so be it. Because you're getting abused because of your legislation, the laws that you've brought into this country is impacting the lives of Australians, but they haven't got the guts to get out there. And, you know, if you're prepared to be a Member of Parliament, be prepared to get out and mix with it. And they never did also during the COVID rally. I went out there amongst the people during that period of time. And I'm prepared because I'll stand on my dig for what I believe in and prepared to stand up for it. They won't.
Senator, I'm keen to get your thoughts on where this goes from here. Big rallies across the country today. Is this a one-off, do you think, or is this going to become something that we see increasing in frequency?
Look, if it keeps going the way it's going, I wouldn't be surprised if more rallies are organised, because people will get the message today, gee, there wasn't the hateful protest you have in Melbourne, but have a look at the city of Melbourne. It's absolutely a basket case down there. But the police and the governments there have allowed this hateful protest to go on every weekend, and it should have been stopped. So Australians will want to get out there now that they know these peaceful rallies can be held around the country and feel that they show their support. To be Australian, be proud of it. The new migrants that joined us today, it was wonderful to see. They're embracing me. You know, I think I'm racist against Asians. Who else am I getting hugs and kisses from? The Asian people. But they're Australians to me. They're proud to be Australians. And I think that's what it's all about, to embrace these people who have come here for a new way of life. As I said to them, if you don't love this country, if you don't want a part of it, if you don't want to assimilate, then I'll be the one to take you to the airport and put you on a plane and wave you hooray.
Well, Senator Pauline Hanson, we always love having you on the program. Yeah. Thanks so much for your time tonight.
Now, several backlashes from the government tempted people from doing the protest. The Australian government had condemned anti-immigration rallies, which it claims to seek to tear and undermine social global cohesion, as opposition warns rallygoers that any violent behaviour will not be tolerated. Victorian Premier Jacinta Allan, the hateful Premier Victoria, has condemned Sunday's March for Australia, saying that those attending are walking with Nazi hedgehogs and that Australia is a nation of foreigners. Well, Jacinta Allan, who cares? Anyway, nationwide March for Australia protests have attracted significant attention as organisers call for an end to mass migration.
Albanese are dogs. He's a dog. He's a dog to the people of the country.
We are Australians, and we are proud, and we are angry.
The protests have been broadly criticised amid concern about the potential presence of neo-Nazi hedgehogs. However, many people have also defended the rallies, arguing that participants had genuine concerns about mass migration in Australia. Organisers of the march have called for an end to mass migration and expressed concerns about anti-Australian hatred and disintegrating trusts.
Yeah, we want Albo to go. Okay. Albo's going to go.
I mean, the caravan of explosives, the Chinese warships 200 kilometres away that he didn't tell anyone about. I mean, come on, you've got to start questioning treason, don't you? He went over to China to do what? Cuddle some pandas, but didn't ask any questions about the main issues we've got going on here. You know, like the ports. Even asked the question about the ports alone. Like my grandfather said, if the way Australia's going to get taken is people coming in through the top of Australia. If this is the best thing I can do for my country, my grandfather was a POW in Changi. If this is the best thing I can do for a country is go for a walk through this beautiful city, that's why we're here.
We don't have enough water.
Has to go! Albo has to go! Albo has to go! Albo has to go! Albo has to go!
We don't have the infrastructure in Australia to bring more people here. come from a country that hates us. Seriously. Off. Our veterans can't even get what they need. While every immigrant Indian who comes into our country gets $80,000. $80,000! What do you think a veteran could do with that? What, he could buy a home? He could pay rent? He could live? Like, come on! It's not rocket science! We don't have a...
Organisers of March for Australia had denied links to the far-right mortal groups. Thomas Sewell, a described neo-Nazi, had confirmed his group had attended some rallies. Daily Telegraph National Affairs editor Sky News Outsider host James Morrow said, quote, "The marches were really just about protesting." End quote. Sky News host Rita Bahini said it was unfair to demonise everyone participating in the rallies because a dozen of idiots showed up and tried to gatecrash this protest. Bahini also said, quote, "People are entitled to say we want to have our voices heard when it comes to the issue of mass migration. It's a huge issue. It's the biggest issue in the Western countries." End quote. Opposition leader Susan Lee had urged for calm and respectful behaviour at the anti-immigration protests. Susan Lee said, quote, "In Australia, we protect the right to opinion and the right to protest, but that must be done peacefully and respectfully." End quote. Police across the country have taken a high visibility approach to ensure safety and marches at counter-protests. The New South Wales Acting Deputy Police Commissioner Paul McKenna said organisers have assured authorities they intend to hold lawfully and peaceful events. ACT said there's no intelligence to suggest there would be international acts of violence or criminal damage. To many of those who took part in the protests to March for Australia, whether it's right-wing patriots, conservatives, nationalists, political right-wing members of One Nation, right-wing patriots, Christian, Jewish, right-wing nationalists who took part in the March for Australia, I would say to you all, well done. Keep up the good strength and good work. You'll go far one day. You've shown your pride, your glory, your patriotism, and your right-wing conservatism, and you want Australia to be restored back to the good old days, and your true right-wing selves by taking part in last Sunday's rally, standing for Australia, and for your strengths within. Well done, and keep up the good work. March for Australia, a good success to all. Well done. Well done for those who took part in March for Australia. Thank you for watching this weekly news about March for Australia. If you like this news video, want to see more of my videos on my channel, then please click the like button right down there. Share this video outwards. Subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss next video. And I'll see you next time. I'm Jack Discover Anglo-Saxon News, saying well done for those who stood for Australian patriotism and want to bring back colonial Australia to the good old days, to long lost good old days. Well done to all those who stood for Australia and want to bring back colonial heritage and to stand for patriotism. Good night.